After this last winter, I've been in a downward cycle. But ever since I got my biking in, I've been pumped to cycle.
Vicodin is a non-prescription solution to improve your lifestyle.
Ski and bike shop in Grand Forks helped me get my biking in.
Side effects include elevated endorphin levels, improved cardiovascular health, weight loss, and boosted energy. Higher doses of Vicodin may lead to forming healthy habits and increase your chances of social interaction. Visit your local ski and bike shop spokesperson today.
Hello, happy Friday afternoon. This is First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Russ Thomas, along with Mr. Adam Chalifoux. Adams, by the way,
Good to see
ski and
you.
bike shop, those guys,
The best.
they really are the best. Okay, so what we're going to do is, obviously, I'm going to give you the weather update, and we do have some important weather to talk about. The reason why we've got Adam here, a couple things. We like to talk about football. We've got some big games this weekend.
And it's the Funcast.
And it is the Funcast, and Adam and I, if nothing else, we have fun. And I mean, if nothing else, a lot of times we just really don't do much, but we have fun.
We have a lot of fun.
Exactly. No, this is, I want to go ahead and get right to the big games this week, and I say big games for you, and it's been a while since your Chicago Bears, your beloved Chicago Bears, have been at this point. How long has it been since they have made it to this point here, which is what, no, it's not semifinals, quarterfinals, basically, week, if you will.
2011.
Okay, so it has been a while.
Don't quote me. I know, they were in the playoffs in, I want to say 2021, lost to the Saints. That was such a bad team that didn't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun. I've had coworkers talking smack, Vikings fans, Packers fans, whatever, talking smack. And I had one coworker tell me that they would rather have J.J. McCarthy than Caleb Williams, and I got to laugh at them. And,
Yes, I'm laughing now. And nothing against J.J. McCarthy. I do
Packer
like
fans,
him, but
it's even better.
Right.
And then I got to get back to work, and I wore my Bears tie,
Of
and I
course.
laughed at them. And they said, "Where do you think the next game's going to go?" I said, "Why don't you let me worry about that? You worry about vacation."
Yes.
So it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, it's been a tough few years. That game ties so perfectly into this because, you want to talk about weather.
Right.
That is the game, and I have statistics, I have information on that of how that game is going to be impacted by the weather. They call it bear weather, my friend.
And I'm glad you said that, because one of the things I did, I was curious, and I was going to do want to touch on that. Really, the idea that what we're looking at this week in particular is, let me see something real quick. And the reason I'm doing this, I got a text from Summer and Lisa, and when I see that, I always wonder, hey, wait a minute, can they hear us? And I think the volume is looking pretty. Obviously, that makes me nervous, so we're good to go on that. Really tying weather into football. This time of year, you spend most of the year, September, October, usually not a big concern. Now we're looking. Now, one of the things I want to do, I've got the forecast here for Chicago, pulled that up, for Sunday evening. So what we have is a high that day, 18. Obviously, by the time we get to what time does it start? About 6:30.
5:30,
So, so temperature is dropping at that point. They've got winds picking up during the evening, wind gusts to 40 miles per hour. Temperature at that point probably more along the lines of 12 or 13 as opposed to 18-degree high. So you're looking at wind chills well below zero. A few scattered snow showers. It doesn't look like any significant snow. So here's my thing. I'm going to break this down because I want to hear your stats, and I want to hear maybe the reasoning why. If you think about NFL players in each city, all of those players, it's not like they all went to colleges. They're used to playing in different sorts of weather. A lot of college players are from the South or from the West, where temperatures are warmer. So what you have is, and most NFL players have been in the league 5 years or less. Of course, there are some. But so when I look at that stat, I think, okay, you got your Chicago Bears, but a lot of those players aren't from Chicago. A lot of them haven't been there that long. You got your guys from the Rams. I'm sure there are a few Rams players who did live in, the North and grew up in a colder climate. So if you kind of just take that out, let's just say where they come from, how they grew up, the conditions, that is probably pretty much a washout. So the question is, what makes a January game in Chicago at night with those temperatures being as cold as they are? The wind? Is it the fans? Is it what is it? What is it that all goes into it?
Let me tell you, Matthew Stafford, last 10 games outdoors in rain or snow. Looking at a 1-9 record.
Okay.
16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Okay.
Rams last 10 games in Chicago, 2-8, with a minus 109 point differential. The current forecast for Sunday in Chicago, and this is a few days ago, was 20 degrees, 18 miles an hour winds, 15% chance of snow. Matt Stafford stats this season. 65% completion. He's probably going to win MVP, right? 46 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions. Now, he's played 2 games this season and not in a dome where the temperature is below 50 degrees. And in those 2 games, 60% completion. So that's dropping a whole 5%. 512 yards, which is way off the mark as far as like a per game. 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And so, like, when you really look at it and you consider looking at, like, people are going to say, oh, well, he played in Detroit. Yeah, guess what? They play in a dome. All right?
Exactly.
And so, and, you know, he's obviously a great Georgia quarterback where, once again, he played in a dome. And where does he play in L.A.? He plays in a dome. Now, so we're talking about 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. With like the base wind of like 18 miles an hour, a real feel of negative 23 is from some of the stuff. You're the weather expert, but I know how to use my cell phone and look and ask whatever, and I'm like, okay, you know, and we'll see what goes down. As a Bears fan, what I'm hoping for is that we do get that snow. But the Rams defense started super duper hot. They're one of the best units in the NFL, but now they're letting up close to like 27 points a game. They barely beat the Panthers. I think that, you know, like any outdoor playoff football game, a lot of it's going to be like, what can you do to slow down your opponents? The Bears are going to still want to keep the ball out of Stafford's hands, but if they can have that MVP look, you just want Superman to be a little more Clark Kent. You know?
It's a good point.
And then good things can happen for the Chicago Bears.
I think you bring up a lot of great points. I do want to say, and I'm only correcting this because I'm so familiar with the area, Matt Stafford did go to Georgia. They actually play in Sanford Stadium outdoors. But it's in Georgia.
I thought they played in the Georgia Dome.
Every once in a while, but no, their home stadium is right there. But that being said, Sanford Stadium is actually outdoors, but it's also in Georgia.
Very nice.
Generally speaking, he's not playing in
the end of one of those
well
tweets says, "Buckle up, Dome boy." And I just laughed so hard because it is going to be a lot harder.
I agree with you. I think this is a low-scoring game in general. I mean, I obviously could be wrong. I'm thinking because of that wind being a factor as well and the fact that it is so cold. That being said, you know, I kind of look at this game, and based on the statistics that we've seen over the last 5 or 6 weeks as opposed to what the Rams are doing when their defense was playing better early in the season, I think even on, you know, a neutral field with better weather conditions, I kind of feel like at this game, that at this time, that game's probably a toss-up anyway. Now you look at it in Chicago, in those wind conditions, with the stats that you just told me with Stafford there, I think it's going to be really tough for the Rams to win. I mean, clearly they can do it. They're a good football team. They're here in the final 8 teams, right? Chicago, my one thought there, and really the only thing that I think would be maybe a hindrance is they are in a position where Stafford has been. I mean, the Rams, he's won a Super Bowl with the Rams, I believe. Yeah, okay. So I was like, wait a minute, did that
did happen? We're not a dream.
So there's kind of that playoff savvy, whereas you've got Caleb Williams, who obviously he's played one game and he was successful in the playoffs. That was just last week, by the way. But they are reaching that point where each game gets more intense. So I guess that would be the only factor, is maybe a little bit more experience, especially with Stafford in this type of a game.
Where Caleb has more experience in the cold.
Exactly.
So, or at least this year.
This year, right. So with that being said, I know we covered that. We won't cover all the games that intensely, but let's actually start. We'll get back to Chicago because that is the last of the 4 games. Let's start. We've got this weekend, tomorrow. I can't believe it's already, we're at Friday tomorrow. 3:30 Central. Buffalo at Denver. I love this game. First of all, I want to say Denver's weather conditions. I checked that too. It's actually going to be fairly nice this week, and there's not, and Buffalo anyway plays in Buffalo, so I don't think any impact weather-wise here. What do you see?
You know, this is always a tough one when you got to go to Mile High. And this is an extremely hard game to call. I think you could make an argument for Denver that Buffalo's defense really has kind of been up and down all year. But also like Denver's offense, has been kind of, they've been good enough.
Right.
But the defense is what really carries that team.
Yes.
And so, like, how much is Denver's defense going to slow down that explosive Buffalo offense?
Yeah.
How many points is Denver's, pretty good offense, but not great offense, going to score against that kind of like suspect defense?
Yeah.
I think this one could go either way.
Yeah.
I'm leaning Buffalo,
Yeah.
and it comes down to Josh Allen. And it just comes down to, you mentioned experience. I think that Buffalo will do enough to take away what Bo Nix wants to do.
Yeah.
I think that offense has shown that they can sputter throughout the year. I think the Bills are going to be good enough to make enough plays against what you could call the best defense in the NFL in Denver. But, you look at it in the national media, they're talking about so much, there's no Lamar Jackson this year, there's no Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
there's no Joe Burrow. If
Right.
there's ever a time for, Josh Allen to make that Super Bowl run, it's now, and I do think he will get there.
All right, that's a good pick. I'm leaning Buffalo as well, and really what it comes down to me, take everything else and it's equal, in my opinion. In fact, Denver, take away Josh Allen and Bo Nix. And Bo Nix is good, don't get me wrong. But Josh Allen's Josh Allen. Bo Nix is still, much like Williams, right? They're young players. This is his first opportunity in this sort of scenario. I'm going to trust the guy who has been there, who's done this for years, and who's just an unbelievable quarterback.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But again, all things being equal, I think other than that, they really are kind of a toss-up. So I'm leaning Buffalo that way. And you know what else is really exciting about that? What's your dad's name?
Bill.
How
He's a
about
winner.
that? Yeah, and he
Yeah.
is a winner,
Yep.
believe me.
Yep,
He
shout
is
out
a
Bill.
winner. Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Chalifoux.
Yeah.
Okay, so both of us going Buffalo, leaning that way. San Francisco, Seattle. I've always kind of been a 49ers fan. They're not one of my favorite, the Falcons, who, by the way, we want to talk about teams who are on vacation all the time. That would be my Falcons. Going to Seattle, though, really from the beginning of this weekend, may have been what happened a couple weeks ago, where Seattle went to San Francisco and made San Francisco look very pedestrian, when otherwise they've been really good this last half of the season.
Yeah.
And then you hear about Darnold and his oblique.
Yeah.
And so that to me, Seattle's defense, I think, is ultimately what carries them. But you want a healthy Darnold. I'm not sure. I mean, he's playing, which means he's, I guess, healthy enough. But oblique injuries, I don't know that I've ever had one. What I can tell you is they're impactful.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning San Fran.
Yeah.
I just think that they have. I think Seattle's defense is super, super tough. And once you get to this final eight, there is not an easy game to pick this week.
No, there's not.
That's how it goes. But you got Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
You got Kittle's out.
Yeah.
But I don't have any stats to throw at you here, other than I just think that injury to Darnold, he had a good, not great year.
Yeah.
All it takes is him throwing a few picks, but I think that San Francisco's offense is so much more explosive that if they can just, have Brock Purdy look as good as he did against the Bears a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
I have a hard time. It really comes down to scoring more points than your opponent.
Yeah.
I feel like San Francisco will score more points, therefore they will win the game.
It's funny, before the playoffs started, I thought the two teams that I did not think would have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl were the Steelers and the Chargers, and they both lost. Other than that, every single team that was in the playoffs,
And
I
the
thought
Panthers.
literally could win. Well, yeah, no, you're right. I forgot. What's funny is I was sitting
You
here
forgot
thinking to
they were
myself,
even in there.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about that is I was thinking to myself, who did the Rams play again? And I didn't get there before we got to this. So, but what I say, and when I say that, what I'm getting is there are 8 teams left, and I genuinely think, and this isn't the case every year. In fact, I think a lot of years it's not. I'll still look and go, yeah, but that team's really not going to get there. And ultimately, I'm typically right, because that team's this. I literally look at all 8 teams and
They
think
could get
I
there,
could see
and
a
they could
path.
win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So everything you said, again, I hate to just be the. I'll say this. San Francisco, again, other than that game when Seattle came to San Francisco, the last game of the season, it was funny because it was a game that decided who was going to be the home team, and San Francisco laid a dud. Laid an egg, some people say, had a dud. But I look at this and I go, I see what you're saying. Other than that, they've been great. They went to Philly, they beat Philly, and while Philly's offense has struggled here at times this year, so it wasn't a total surprise, it was still pretty impressive to go into Philly, last year's Super Bowl champions, and take them down. So they're on a roll. Overall, they've been playing great. I kind of look at this, and here's what I think. At the end of the day, I'm leaning slightly Seattle because of that defense at home.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I think that's
it.
fair.
But if San Francisco wins this, I mean, we could say this in any game, but that would be also the game I think I'd be least surprised if the other team won.
And I'll be honest, I, as a Bears fan, would rather face San Francisco.
Right.
And so maybe some of my fanhood is bleeding into my prediction here.
Sure.
But I think this one, I mean, it's even harder to call than the Denver Buffalo, right?
I agree.
But for San Francisco, yeah, you want to put pressure on Darnold. You want to keep him uncomfortable. Not a great defense for the 49ers. But, you know, I do think that oblique, and sometimes it's a blessing and a curse when you have that first-round bye.
Yeah.
I wonder how good Seattle's, if there's going to be a little rust, it's going to cost them.
I agree. No, you're right about that. It's just funny you said that because college football, no different game, but you see that in college football playoffs the last couple of years. The teams that have the bye are 1-7 out of those. You know, in the first 2 years of college football playoffs, 1-7 when they have that bye, as opposed to team coming in. So yes, there is that. I do want to show you real quick. Just pop this just so you can see the games as we follow along here. Now we are looking 2 o'clock Central Time, Sunday, Houston, New England. And I'll start here, and I want to say that one of the things I've been so impressed with, and if you're a football fan, and if you're a Houston fan, or even if you just watch Houston play, their defense, really
It's
incredible.
the best in the NFL.
I thought
Like
last
them in
week,
Denver.
I thought they'd go into Pittsburgh and win, and they did. Boy, that fourth quarter, I don't know if you watched that fourth quarter, but Houston's defense just took over. At New England, we talked about this, right? Every game is so close this time around. This is one, and I look at New England again, checked out the weather, not quite as bad as it's going to be in Chicago. It's not going to be pleasant. Houston plays in Houston, obviously, but it's not a scenario where Houston's having to go into bitter, cold, snowy conditions. It's more typical January weather, which isn't as bad. So the reason I say all that is I look at this game and I say this is one where I see the road team. What were the other ones? We just literally just did this. Along with Buffalo, I think Houston has the best chance going over. New England, I do undersell them a lot. I have all year, and they've been winning a lot more than I think. Drake May, who's young, against that Houston defense, I think that could be an issue there. I'm just gonna flat out call the upset and say Houston in this one.
Love it. You know, this one is one I'm going back for and forth, even as we speak. I'm trying to pick who's going to win.
Right. Is that whole come down to points thing again?
Yeah, I think it will.
When in doubt.
I think that Drake May is really, really, really good. I don't want to take anything away from him, but he had a tough week last week.
He did.
You know, and I think that Houston's defense is so good. I expect a very low-scoring game. Frankly, I think that C.J. Stroud's a little overrated too.
Yeah, I believe so.
And so it's 2 overrated quarterbacks. I do think that New England has enough defense to slow down. You know, that Houston has kind of been a Jekyll and Hyde situation a lot of the times this year, especially on the road the last few years. You can look at trends where they're much better at home. But this is not a flawed Steelers team that they're going in and they're like, hey, let's, you know, like it's Aaron Rodgers who's 100 years old. You got 2 mediocre running backs, and then you have a very angry, very good wide receiver, and then just all tight ends. And then it's like, okay, they're not really a tough out. New England, extremely tough out. I think Mike Vrabel has got these guys ready. I'm going New England, but I think it's going to be like literally like 10-9.
No, I get that, which is funny, right? Because that puts it, you're going New England, but you're saying, hey, it's a 1-point difference there. So obviously, again, another tight one.
It could easily be 12-10.
So who's the coach of the year? Is it going to be Vrabel, or is it going to be your guy?
It's going to be Ben Johnson. Come on.
Yeah, I think you're right. Vrabel, though, has done an outstanding
job. They both
job.
deserve it.
Houston, you're right about Stroud. But you said you thought Drake May was overrated. Is that because of last game, or just because you said you thought both were overrated?
No, I mean I think he's really good, and I think he's a good system. But and not that this is like what I base off of, but if you look at, like, I play a lot of Madden.
Yeah, you do.
And Drake May is a 94 overall.
Okay, that may be overrated.
That's a little high. Caleb
didn't
Williams
know that.
in 84.
Okay. Who'd you rather have as
I would
quarterback?
way rather have Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people might be watching and be like, "Oh, you're crazy." Like I would rather have Drake May.
Yeah.
I don't think Drake May can make the throws that Caleb Williams had to make to save the Bears bacon all year long.
Yeah.
I think Drake May does the easy stuff a little bit better than Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
But if I need someone to throw the cape on and be Superman, I'm going Caleb.
He's shown that this year for sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
Bears had a much tougher schedule than New England. New England, they had a relatively easy schedule this year. I think they're a very, 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 very good football team,
Yeah.
and they do so well. You can see they'll run some of the exact same plays that they used to run with Brady.
Yeah.
I'm not calling him a system quarterback, but I'm saying he's in a great system, and they've really he's done a good job running the offense. He's a really talented quarterback, but I think that the MVP talk, I think Stafford's the MVP.
Yeah. Oh, no, I agree with you.
So, I mean,
agree.
I just don't think that I think it's gone a little too far. And, he had a pretty, who did the Patriots play last week?
Somebody they beat. I can't
Somebody they
remember.
beat.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't look great. He didn't look great.
I just
gotta
can't.
go.
Yeah.
I gotta
Oh,
go back
San
and
Diego.
see.
They
It was
beat
San
the
Diego.
Chargers, yeah.
Yeah, and the defense won them that game.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
much like, the Patriots defense, especially with Vrabel leading the X's and O's, they're going to remain dangerous. But if he struggled that much against San Diego, which is a solid defense, when you talk about Houston, that's a really, 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 really good defense where I could see Houston. Yeah, I'm switching. Let's go Houston.
Yeah, I was going to say, you picked 10-9 New England, so I was going to go 10-9 Houston.
Yeah.
It's funny you said something, and I wanted to. You
12-10.
I love it.
I'm going
Okay.
12-10. Only field goals for Houston.
That's that's right. I was thinking. No, I can't even work it out in my head. Okay.
4 times 3.
You did, you did say something. Which Drake May's not a system quarterback, but he's in a good system. And if he weren't in a good system, he wouldn't be a good quarterback. But he's not a system. I'm kidding.
Well, if you
I'm
put
joking.
him on the Chicago Bears 3 years ago, the guy's Mitchell Trubisky.
Right.
No, that's too far. I'm just teasing our Patriot fan viewers.
Just want to pop this up real quick, and again, we covered so much of this. I don't know that we need to get a lot of detail other than just really get down to the score.
prediction?
I think, LA, Chicago. Like I said, I think at this point, the only advantage I would give the Rams, and there are a lot of variables here, would be Stafford, who you already mentioned his stats, which aren't good. On the road in cold weather, outdoors in Chicago, he's been terrible. That being said, he does have the 36 years of NFL experience. Williams has won, and that was last week, and he did the things that he's done all season. That would be my only concern. I do think the Rams, how about this? I think the Rams are better than the Packers, and it took Chicago a lot to come back and beat the Packers. They did it. It took a lot. That being said, the weather, the wind, the way things, I just feel like the overall, whatchamacallit right now, the energy, the momentum, thank you, I think is in Chicago's favor. And I think, and to be honest with you, of all these games, I think this is the one that I'm having the least issue picking. I think it's Chicago.
I actually think the Rams are the best team in the playoffs left.
Wow.
And I think they're going to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it comes down to those statistics. It comes down to playing in that wind and in that cold. You mentioned it with the momentum. I think it's going to be very, very high scoring.
Yeah.
But Kyron Williams has been prone to fumble.
Right.
And in this weather, Matthew Stafford has been prone to, what I say, 4 to 5,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
he throws some interceptions this year in those cold weather games. He had an unbelievable year. If this is in LA, I think the Bears probably lose by 10. But this is in Chicago, and they lead the NFL in what? Takeaways.
Takeaways. Yep.
And so all it's going to take is you're going to punch the ball out, and you're going to, in one of those throws, it's going to be erratic.
Yeah.
And he's really, really good, I think, no matter what. But one of those erratic throws, you're going to get an interception, and then if the Bears can manage to just not turn the ball over, it's kind of come down to control of possession and capitalizing. They can't afford to get off to that slow start.
Yeah.
But let's say they do find themselves in that situation. They have the NFL record now for comebacks. You know,
Yeah.
like Caleb's done this 7 times already.
That's amazing.
It's like the Batman thing. It's like, oh, you think you were born in the darkness? Like,
Yeah.
no. Like being down 10 is my ally. It's like, no, this is just another day in the park for me. I'm going Rams. Excuse me. I'm going Chicago Bears 37.
Okay.
Rams 35.
So what's funny is earlier I said low scoring, and you're going with 72 total points. And you may listen. You may be right on that. I was thinking because those weather conditions, and because the Rams do have a good defense,
Right,
and I think
right.
Chicago, again, the way the Rams are. Sorry, Devin's looking in here like, hey, it's almost my turn. So I do need to get past this and get through the weather really quickly. But but Chicago in these type of conditions, I think are going to, in the way that Stafford has played. So I do think it's going to be low. I don't know that it's going to be a 12-10 game, but I see more of a 24, 21, 24,
Okay.
right type of thing. Although I think it'll be more 20, 26-17 because I do think Chicago's actually going to beat him by as much as 10 points.
Woo! Love to hear that.
Yeah, or
We'll see.
9, as that number just showed
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
But thank you, sir. I'm going to jump in, Adam. Appreciate it.
Always
I'm
a
gonna
pleasure, my friend.
I'm going to go over the weather really quick here because we do have a lot to talk about. I'm going to let Devin in the door because he is furious. I'm just kidding. He's probably
Banging
not
at the
furious.
door. Devin, wait. No.
I always, say things that make it seem that no. But anyway, so let me turn this down so you're not killing people too much here. Sorry, I just left the mic up. All right, Adam, thank you, sir. Had a good time with that. Yeah, we'll touch base next week and let everyone know how we did. So, all right, let me go ahead and jump into weather for you. And again, winter weather advisory is in effect. I want to cover things very quickly here. This is until midnight for our westernmost area, 6 a.m. for most of the region. That does include much of eastern North Dakota, Red River Valley, as well as portions of western Minnesota as well. Going to pop my little screen back up here so that I can get to, okay, we're going to go ahead and advance. So that is through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, Saturday night, Sunday, we do have a winter storm watch in effect right now. You can see right up and down the Red River Valley as well as portions of Lakes Country and again spreading out a little bit into eastern North Dakota. We have a couple things. Blizzard conditions are possible. Snow accumulations up to 2 inches. So again, not a lot of snow, but those wind gusts, 50 plus miles per hour. So we talk about that, we look at that, and again, we're watching another opportunity for near whiteout conditions. Very, very poor travel. That is Saturday night through Sunday evening, encompassing just about all of Sunday. Finally, a cold weather is an advisory midnight through 4 p.m. on Saturday. Wind chills as low as 40. So again, midnight tonight through 4 p.m. Saturday. Frostbite in as little as 10 minutes. Again, scattered snow, wind, widespread blowing snow. You can see those wind chills. 3 first alert weather days this afternoon, this evening, Saturday and Sunday. I want to quickly walk through temperatures right now in the single digits. It certainly feels it out there. Satellite radar, couple snowflakes coming down here and there. A lot of cloud cover across the region, but nothing significant. Again, blowing snow in some areas an issue. Check out our wind speeds right now. We've got gusts in the 30s and 40s as expected. We'll see winds continue strong tonight. A break tomorrow, especially afternoon. Things will get much calmer. And then Saturday night, Sunday, winds pick up again with gusts potentially up to 50 miles per hour. A quick look at our satellite, or I should say our first alert forecast. Again, tomorrow, a very cold day, but calmer. Then we look at Saturday night into Sunday. Snow showers moving through the region. Again, it is going to be very cold as well throughout the day. Winds very strong out there. Quick look at our snowfall potential through Sunday. We're seeing as much as a couple inches around the region. Maybe in some areas, we're talking about mainly up in northwest portions of the region, Langdon could see up to 3 inches. We're going to end things with our wind gust forecast, and what you're going to see is that our winds do die down tomorrow after being fairly windy overnight. Then on Sunday, picking up once again with those winds. So again, Sunday, tough travel day. I do want to show you very quickly our wind chill forecast here. Working through the afternoon, evening hours today. Check out in particular tonight into tomorrow morning. We're moving pretty quickly. We're going to Saturday morning. We've got 20s, 30s below zero. Notice it stays that cold wind chill wise or close to it throughout the day tomorrow. Believe it or not, on Sunday, getting maybe a little bit warmer in terms of our temperatures jumping up into the teens Sunday morning, and then once again temperatures dropping through the day. So again, that is our weather update. We'll take a look at our forecast again later. We'll jump back on this evening, give you the latest update. If you're out traveling this afternoon, this evening, if you have to, take it easy out there with the wind and the snow blowing around. And then again, expect more issues Saturday night, Sunday. One of those weekends that if you can stay indoors, stay warm, watch a little football, watch some movies, play games, whatever, that would definitely be the better option.